time it is. It's sweet potato pone time. Y'all ever heard of that? Sweet potato pone? Got a fly in here. Mr. E's cooking outside today, and when you cook outside, for some reason that smoke draws flies. So I got a fly in here, doggone it. Anyway, I'm making some sweet potato pone, which is basically a sweet potato pie without the crust. So any of you who trying to fight those carbs, this would be a good recipe for you. It's got the sweet potatoes, which is acceptable for a lot of diabetics. So that's, it'd be good for diabetics too, I guess. It's not going to have very much sugar in it because I'm trying to make recipes with less sugar in them. Even though I'm not diabetic myself, my mom's diabetic, and just know people that are diabetic. There's a lot of people that are diabetic nowadays. And so I'm trying to make foods that have less sugar in them. And carbs, of course, turn to sugar. So I'm making a sweet potato pone. It won't have that pie crust on it. And I've eaten this before. We used to go camping at Woodson's Landing, and there was a man there that was a friend of ours, and he had made this, and it was so good. And I had never ate that before, and I got him to give me the recipe, and I'm so glad I did because it's a very good dessert. And since I had some sweet potatoes and I wanted to make something that's kind of fall-like with spices, so I'm thinking like cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg and all that good stuff. And you can boil the potatoes, but I actually had these baked and I had them in my freezer. So I just took them out and thawed them out, and now I'm just peeling them to use for my recipe. Okay, they're all peeled now. That was certainly easy. The thing that took the longest was thawing them out. So here's our sweet potatoes, all peeled. And I have 5 of them in here. Get my recipe book right here so I can see what I need to put in it next. Scrap bucket. All right, let's see what goes in here next. Preheat oven to 350. I need to take the shelf down a little bit. And I'm just going to use that small oven. That'll work. I don't need to use that big oven for this. Okay, so I need some eggs, 2 eggs. This is just some yard eggs we've had from our chickens. This is the real thing, y'all. When you have eggs and they come in the house and they have feathers on them, you know that's from some yard chickens, huh? Hi there, hello there. I'm making some sweet potato pone. Sweet potato pone, y'all. It's like a sweet potato pie without the crust, and it's very good. So I'll put these 2 eggs in here that it calls for. Some good fresh yard eggs, y'all. Okay, so there's our 2 fresh yard eggs. They slide to the bottom of the bowl so you can't really see them, huh? They're in there, trust me. Okay. Well, let Let me see, maybe I can use a plastic whisk and it won't make so much noise. Okay, and for the sugar, we're going to be using 1/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. Light brown sugar. This is a canister that I actually saved that I had got some nuts in, and I just reused it. I like to reuse stuff. I'd say 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar into these eggs. Just like that. We can put that up now. We don't need to leave that right here in the way now, do we? Just going to mix that brown sugar right into those eggs, like that. And it says beat thoroughly. So I'm going to try to do that. And you know how brown sugar clumps up? That's what I got going on here. So you know what? I need a spoon to kind of break those clumps. But brown sugar is so good. Oh, I love brown sugar. It's got so much more flavor than that white sugar does. It is really good for cookies and sweet potato pies like what we're making today. Okay, here's another clump. We got to get those clumps out though. We don't want clumps in there. What else goes in here? Okay, so we're gonna mash up our sweet potatoes. Find a potato masher. I used my potato masher for lunch for some white potatoes. So I'm having to get it cleaned up here. Okay, we're good. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it, y'all. Mashing up my sweet potatoes. They're mashing up good. Ooh, they're so pretty and bright orange. Lovely, lovely, lovely. You know, a lot of recipes right now call for pumpkin, and I don't have pumpkin, but I have sweet potatoes, and I could use that in the place of any pumpkin recipe, I believe. But this one actually calls for sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes is what we are using. Y'all see those lovely sweet potatoes? Yummy. Yummy. Okay, y'all. Got our sweet potatoes mashed. We got our eggs and our brown sugar well combined. Let's see what else goes in this yumminess. Hey, we can move these eggs out of the way. We don't need that in the way anymore, do we? Let's see here. We need some milk. So let's get our milk measured out. Why don't we? We need 1/2 cup of milk. I am using canned milk. I cook with canned milk a good bit because I just normally don't keep regular milk on hand. So then let's open that up. I got this neat little can opener, y'all. This is a swing line can opener. It's probably from the 80s. I got it on eBay. It's like brand new, and it's way better than those new ones. Works like a dream, guys, like a dream. You ever open these cans right on your cabinet top? I think that scratches them. I like to put down a pot holder or something so it doesn't scratch my countertop. My countertop's not fancy marble or anything, but it's not like I want to replace it because I scratched it all up. You know what I'm saying? Okay. This is 1/4 of a cup of milk, guys. Now, I know it calls for 1/2 cup of milk, but since I'm using canned milk and it's condensed, I need to water that down a little bit. So I'm going to add the same amount of water that I did milk. And this is not hot water. It just happens to be out of the kettle from when I made coffee this morning. So that can go back up there. And now I can mix this milk in to my sweet potatoes. You see that? We're getting a nice little mixture going here. It's not too watery looking either. You notice that? Hello, everybody. I'm getting some flour to add to that, y'all. If y'all wondering where I'm at out of the side of the camera here. But I have some whole wheat flour in my freezer, and that's what I was going to get. So I got that here for when we need it. I'll put it off to the side, okay? Sounds good to y'all? It sounds good to me. This is going to have some spices. We're going to do some cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. So let's see if we can pull those out. Here's the cloves. Here's the nutmeg. And here's the cinnamon. That was pretty easy, huh? We need something to measure that with. Oh, and you know what else we're going to need? Some salt. And I like to use this Himalayan pink salt. Has a lot of good flavor in this stuff. Okay, guys. It also calls for some molasses. And I think I have some molasses. Let's see if I can find them. I'm almost sure I have some. Here it is. Grandma's molasses, and that's what I'm going to put in there. Molasses isn't very sweet. It's not very sweet at all. And it's calling for 1/4 of a cup of it. Woo, look, those good thick molasses, guys. If it was the winter time, they wouldn't come out that fast, would they? They'd be slow as molasses. All right, let's get all of that out of this little cup because it is sticking to the inside of the cup. And I want it out. I want it all in my bowl. I paid for every drip drop of it, and I want every drip drop of it down in this recipe. All right, set that off to the side and mix that in. Woo, look, those molasses in there, guys. It's going to be good. It's going to be sweet, and it's going to be yummy. Ooh, look at that. Wait till we add in this other stuff. Okay, we can add in our eggs now. That has that brown sugar in it. Oh, mix it in good. That brown sugar tried to settle on the bottom of this bowl when I set it down for just those few minutes. Okay, here it goes. Got all of that goodness in there. And I don't think we need to mash these anymore. They're mashed enough. I'll continue on with my whisk instead to mix these ingredients. Mix, mix, mix. It's making a dark pie filling, isn't it? That it is. Okay, it's time to put our spices in. Let me make sure I have everything else. Oh, you know what? We need to put some butter in here. It's going to call for 1/2 cup of butter, or it is rather calling for 1/2 cup of butter. And of course, We want that to be melted butter. So it's nice and soft. You see that? Nice and soft. Get that in there. Get that in there. Put that in that bowl there. Somebody's crazy. And it ain't you. We say that all the time to each other, me and my husband. Somebody's crazy. And it ain't you. I guess we kind of joke around here. Okay, so there's that butter in there. Let's get that mixed in. Y'all know butter makes everything better, right? I know I sure enough know it. Not that I go crazy with butter now, y'all. I'm not like Pauline crazy with this butter, but it is good. Okay, now let's see if we can add our other spices. I think we can. So let's start. I know salt's not a spice, but let's start with our salt. We're going to put in a half a teaspoon. That's a half a tablespoon. We definitely don't want that. Pay close attention. You got the teaspoon and not the tablespoon. So we're using a half a teaspoon of salt. You know you have to put salt in sweet stuff or it does not taste as good. So do remember that. Okay, we got the salt in. Pinch of salt over the shoulder because I spilled some. And let's see, we're going to go with a half a teaspoon of everything. So we're going to go with a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon. Do y'all remember what the last one was? Cloves. Yummy. Now that spice, guys, we got us a half a teaspoon of each one. It's saying for us to use a little bit less cloves than that, but I love cloves. I love all those spices, so I'm putting them all in there at a half a teaspoon each. And that's going to be awesome. That's going to make some good potato pone, girls and boys. Okay. Into this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of whole wheat flour. Tablespoons, 2 of them. Why not sneak in some nutrition? You know, why would you use white flour in a recipe like this when you could easily get away with the whole wheat flour? It's a no-brainer. We have to try to eat better than what we've been eating. We eat so much junk food. Trying to make a dessert that's halfway nutritious and not just all junk food. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That is everything that goes in this bowl. This is what it looks like when it's all mixed up. You can see the little pieces of butter in it. You can smell all that wonderful cinnamon and cloves in there. And it's got the good sweetness of the brown sugar and the molasses. And of course the sweet potatoes, they are sweet. We're just going to put those in some pans. Let's get us some pans out. It's asking for a casserole dish. Let me see what kind of dish I have I can put this into. Because whatever dish I use, it has to fit in that little oven. think this will be perfect. I bought some bread rolls that was in this. You see, it's pretty deep. It's not a very shallow pan, and I know it fits in that oven. So this is what I'm going to use. All right. J&R family says like done. So does that mean you gave me a like? All right. So I need to oil this. Let's see what it says to oil it with, because I haven't made this in a while. I don't remember what you oil it with. Butter. It's saying to oil it with butter, guys. Butter, butter, butter. Now, you know what I did? I done went and used all that softened butter in this recipe. So I'm going to have to try to butter this pan with some butter out of the refrigerator. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's see. It's going on there. Making lots of noise, too. I guess y'all really don't appreciate that, huh? Let's see if I can put a pot holder under it. That helped tremendously. Good butter on there. Look at there. Woo, I'm getting it. I'm getting it, guys. I was supposed to do a live last night, and I went to my mom's yesterday, and I brought her just to get out of the house, you know, because all the news is so depressing when you watch all that stuff and you're by yourself at home. That could be really down, you know, bring you down. So I went and got her, and which she wasn't down. She was actually up in spirits, which I was very glad of that. Anytime I call my mom and she's in good spirits, it makes me happy. But I still wanted to get her out anyway. I guess I was kind of down too, because I've been watching a lot of that news too, you know. And anyway, we got out and we went to go get her some shoes. She was going to get some diabetic shoes. And then when we got to the place, they told us that they didn't take her kind of insurance. So she didn't get to get her shoes. She has shoes now, but she doesn't have like diabetic shoes. You know what I'm saying? That you can get. And I said, well, since we're out, we talked about even maybe switch her insurance and all that. But anyway, we decided not to do that. And then we went to a thrift store. I said, well, while we out, you want to go to the thrift store? And she said, yeah, let's go to the thrift store. So we went go do that. And it just wore me out. I didn't realize it. I brought her home and visited there for a while. And her neighbor came over and we visited. And I came home and I sat in my recliner. I made me a sandwich first, and I sat in my chair, and before you know it, I was asleep. And it was like, I want to say it was like 5:30 or something, and I totally forgot that I had a live. Well, I didn't schedule it, but I had told some of my viewers that I was going to be doing lives on Thursday night, and I just totally was so tired. I totally forgot about it, actually. Even though I had talked about it earlier with my mom, I was like, yeah, I have a live tonight. And I don't know. This week just wore me out. I did canning this week, and I don't know. It just wore me out. I went to the Selborne, and I went shopping, and then I brought mom and visited her. And okay, I got it completely buttered, y'all. Looks good. Now I can get this stuff down in there, and I'm going to use a little spatula. So I apologize to any of y'all who was waiting on a live from me last night, because I was just totally drained. Totally drained. Okay, so here's our sweet potato pone mixture going down into our pan here. And you know, I'm gonna serve this with some Cool Whip on top. I think that'll be nice. A nice little touch. Cool Whip doesn't have hardly any sugar in it. at all. I mean, it might have like 1 gram or something. It's not much at all. Look how that spatula gets everything out of the bowl. Now I don't even have to wash it. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm gonna wash it. Okay, so spread this baby down in here like that. It's kind of like a sweet potato. It's basically a sweet potato pie without the crust, y'all. Is basically what it is. And it's very good. So don't be fooled thinking you don't have the crust, it ain't gonna be no good, because that ain't true. It's gonna be very good. If I can ever smooth it out at this angle I'm working with. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. I'll try to get this off of this spatula with this butter knife that I used to get my butter off that paper with a while ago. That will work. Yes, sirree. And yes, ma'am. Into the oven it goes like that. Make sure there's nothing sticking on the bottom of that pan. You don't want to have to be smelling something burning on the bottom of that pan while you're baking. Okay, so it goes into the oven and at 350 degrees for 50 to 60 minutes or until heated through. So what we're gonna do is turn our little timer on so we don't go sit down and watch The Price is Right and forget that we even got something baking up in here. We're gonna turn the timer on. And I know it's gonna take a whole hour, but check it earlier than that, because just in case, you never know, I'm gonna actually check it at 30 minutes and see what it's doing. That's good. I'll put it for 30 minutes, and then that way the timer will go off and I can come here and check it. Make sure I don't need to adjust the rack, bring it up a little maybe or whatever. And then if I do need to adjust the rack, I'll do that. I'll have some sweet potato pone in about an hour. I'll let it cool. I'll put some Cool Whip on top of it. And hey, we'll have a good dessert with not a whole lot of sugar in it, which is very good. We eat way too much sugar. Way too much sugar, y'all, in this country. It's crazy, the sugar we eat. We don't need to eat all that sugar. And if you can just take it down a little notch here and there, it will help a lot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using my sweet potatoes I had in the freezer that I had baked previously. And that'll about do it, because I'm certainly not going to keep y'all on alive for an hour to see when the sweet potato pone comes out that oven. I just want to come on, say hello to everybody, and make a little sweet potato pone. So y'all give me a thumbs up on the way out if you'd like to. I sure would appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye now.